we can check this off and then move over to the next part, which is DOM asynchronous JavaScript. Now these are the places it really gets interesting. So at this point we'll now be actually moving away from our editor here that we have here. So thank you to replit.com. We'll now be moving to creating a code base and working inside of a code base, and then we'll be using most of these things that we've learned and a few other things that we'll be learning in a bit. All right, talking about BOM, which is short for Browser Object Model, we'll be looking at a few of these things we are looking at here, some of these constructs. So like I told you, this is now the time for us to move away from here. We are moving to getting a code base. So I'll just move to desktop. I think desktop should, or I can just do this inside of my documents. All right, so inside of here I'll just create a folder, any folder, and I could just name it JS thoughts, something like that. And I'll be opening this inside of my VS Code, so I'll just do that immediately. Not sure why it didn't work. Okay, should work this time around. Okay, great. So what we want to do is we want to see how the browser interacts with JavaScript at this point. All right, so inside of here I assume you already have clear knowledge of JavaScript. So sorry, not JavaScript, HTML. So we'll just create two files. The first one will be index.html and the second will be index.js or JavaScript. Now I'll just quickly put in a dummy code here, and then inside of the body here we'll create a script tag. So a script tag like this. So for now our code will be inside of this script tag. So anything we are doing will just be inside of here. All right, just so that we have something on our page, we could just say JavaScript. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's it. And for now, this is what we have. Let's run this on a browser. So open it on a live server, or you could choose to just open it from where you are. And then let me open this to the side so that for now we can see everything we are doing side by side. Okay, great. So recall that we are talking about the browser object model. All right, so let's have this boot here. I could just paste it inside of this, and nope. All right, like this. So let's start looking at some of them. So there is the alert, there is the confirm, there is the prompt, there is the location, there is the setTimeout, and the setInterval that I want to look at in this tutorial. So the first one is the alert. Now some people might choose to start this with a window or alert, you know, and say hello world. So when we save this, it shows up on our screen saying hello world. All right, if you refresh this, it tells us hello world. But here's the thing, the browser JavaScript, everybody already knows that all these functions are built into window, so there's no need starting our function with the window keyword. So if you save this and do a refresh, it should still work exactly the same. All right, so that solves it for that. Then the next one is confirm. So we could do confirm like that, save it, and so it's confirming for us. Okay, hello world. Okay, you could do an okay or cancel. So confirm is usually used to maybe ask somebody, are you sure of this? Do you want this to happen? So are you sure? So let's are you sure, something like this. So maybe somebody wants to submit a particular payment, wants to submit a particular script. You want to ask the person, hey, are you sure? So let's save this, and then you see that it's asking us, are you sure? So you could choose to say okay or cancel. So when you say okay, you could do something else or not, something like that. You could use this and make it really interactive if you choose to. All right, so to make it interactive, we could just do some sort of conditional statements. All right, so that when confirmation is true, you write something, and when confirmation is false, you do something else, something like that. Okay, so what we can do here is say if confirm. So we could start from here and say if confirm, like that. We could just do an alert. Okay, so if are you sure is true, then we alert hello. If not, we say bye. So let's save this, and it's asking us, are you sure? Now if we say cancel, it now alerts to us and say bye, and we go. But if we do a refresh and say okay, then it tells us hello. You get that kind of thing. So we could use this as an interactive way to use the browser. Okay, then another thing we can do is prompt. All right, so let's do prompt. So prompt, and we do enter your name, something like that. Okay, so let's clear this off and just do enter your name like that, and then let's try it. You see, you can enter your name, so it says hello and okay, something like that. So you could also choose to say alert, whatever the name is. So let's make it interactive. If something like that, let's make this prompt interactive. All right, if prompt like that. Let's get rid of some of these things. Okay, if prompt enter your maybe age, something like that. So what it means is it's asking us, okay, if we ask somebody to enter their age and they enter a particular age, what we want to do with them, you get that kind of thing. So we could just use similar code like we are saying. So if the person enters 18, then we can tell the person, hey, you are eligible to vote, or any number beyond 18. However, if this person enters any number below 18, then we'll tell the person that, hey, you are not eligible to vote, something like this. So let's save it and let's try. So let's enter 12, and it tells us, hey, you are not eligible to vote. However, if we try it again, and let's say we enter something like 19, and hit okay, it tells us, hey, you are eligible to vote. So this a few ways that one could use prompt. So another thing you could do with prompt is, okay, you could do let's get this person's detail and show the person that, hey, this is your detail. All right, so let's say this is the person's age. We could also ask for the person's name, something like that, and say we want to learn your name, and then at the end we will just do an alert. So in the alert we say, hey, your name is this and your age is this. All right, we'll be coming back to explain some of this code, but let's just make sure you see it working. So here is asking age, so we give it a 23 and we hit okay, and then next thing we ask is asking for name, so we put in Samson and we hit okay, and then it's telling us that your name is Samson and your age is this. So coming here, this is something I've not shown you before, but this is what we call more like template string. So what it does here is it starts with a backtips, not a quote, and then inside of here you get the name passed in, but you have to make sure that it starts with the $sign. Now if you get rid of the $sign, this would be useless. Notice that the color is even the same. So let's try this. Let's do a refresh. Okay, this would still give us the same thing. Okay, so let me save this. All right, now it's going to give us what we want. Let's pass in 23, and then let's pass in Joko like that and hit okay. You see, it just gives us the text we have because we didn't pass in the $sign. All right, so let's put back the $sign and save it. Let's refresh and then pass in the age and say 30, and then the name we'll pass in Joko like that, hit okay, and it's telling us your name is Joko and your age is 30. So this is how you use prompts. I think that's getting out of my mind. All right, so the next thing we want to look at is location. Window.location. And like I pointed out to you, all these are window functions, but we are not putting in the window there because JavaScript recognizes it as a window function. So inside of here, we want to pass in the location. Is the location object, and then the location object helps you to find out maybe where you are, the URL that you are using and stuff like that. So let's just do location.href. save it, and it tells us the exact location that we are on. Now, if you do this on any other major site, it should still give you the same thing. All right. We would also try this with maybe like the host name. So let's try the host name, just the host name, and save it. And let's refresh. Host name, it gives us what the host name is. If we try this with a path, like a path name, it will still give us the right answer. All right. So you save this and do a refresh, and it gives us the path name where we find ourselves. You could also ask for the port like that. So this could be necessary when you are building out your web application or something like that. So just that. So this is all you need to know about location for now. Then the next two things when it comes to interacting with the browser is set timeout and set interval. Let me bring them down to a new line and make sure I'll comment it out. Sorry. All right, like that. So what does the set timeout do? The set timeout delays something for a particular time and then give out that stuff, something like that. However, the set interval does certain things at every interval. You get? So something like this. So for the set timeouts, we could try it out and say, okay, set timeout. So this is how it goes. So the set timeout is a function that takes in a callback function and a time. So for example, what we have here, set timeout, it takes in this arrow function here, and then there is a comma here where you can pass in the time. So for here, the time is 3 seconds, and then this alert comes after 3 seconds, basically. So this function happens every 3 seconds. So if we save this and we wait 3 seconds, then we should have this alert pop up for us. So we just had to wait 3 seconds. If you choose to make it wait a little more, it's going to happen just like that. So let me increase this to 5 seconds and save it and wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, and this will come up, as you can see. Awesome. Then how about set interval? So the difference between set interval, as we have said, is that it continues to do something continuously over a period of time, or after a period of time rather. So all you need to do is just change what we have here to set interval instead of set timeout. So every other thing remains the same. So once we have this, then we could let's reduce this to 3 seconds and save this. Then it waits 1, 2, 3 seconds and it comes up. Now it will continue to do this as long as you don't stop it. It will continue to do this. So if you notice that as I click on each of those OK buttons, it keeps bringing up and down. So this means there's 1, 2, 3, and now if you see wait again, another 3 seconds, it keeps adding more and more of this. You see, another 3 seconds, we have another one. So this is how set interval works. So you can think of a place whereby you want to use this, maybe in checking time. So if, for example, you want to create like a stopwatch, this could be the right way to do it, by using a set interval, and as the seconds increases, you can count the time. All right, so that is it. We'll just so that let's stop the live server. If not, our browser will crash because there is no condition for it to end. All right, so let's I'm trying to stop the live server, so I think I've been able to stop it if I'm correct. So that is it. Let me get rid of this so that I don't keep running that same thing. All right, and hopefully I got that out of the way. Open with live server, so we are good now. It has stopped. All right, if you don't stop that, it would will just crash your browser at some point because it's going to overwork it. Now that is it with BOM Browser Object Model. There are many of them that you can still check more, but this is what you really need to get started. So